Eddie, many congratulations on being the new England head coach. What were the deciding factors for you in taking the role?
Look, when I first spoke to Ian Ritchie, I was really excited about the potential of the England side. You know, it's one of the biggest unions in the world, very strong domestic competition, a lot of good young players. And if you look at the 2015 World Cup side, you know, there's probably approximately 70% of that side can go through to the next World Cup. So it's a fantastic opportunity to take a side going forward.
Why do you think you'll be successful with England?
Well, I'm hoping I'm going to be successful. You know, my job is to unlock the potential of the players. You know, I've had, reasonable international experience. You know, I've had experience of winning and losing, and I'm sure that we can get the best out of the players.
How do you want England to play, Eddie?
Well, I think the thing about England's style, is that we've got to develop a style that's very pragmatic. You know, we've got to use the strengths of English rugby, which has always been to have a dominant set piece, strong defence and that real bulldog spirit. But that alone doesn't win games of Test rugby. So we've got to add some plus factors to that. You know, we've got to be able to move the ball when the conditions allow us, when the defence allows us, when the referee allows us. You know, and the good sides in the world like New Zealand, who everyone wants to knock off, are very pragmatic. So we want to be a good pragmatic team.
How hands-on a coach are you?
Look, I'm 55 now, but I still love coaching. You know, the highlight of my day is getting on the field and coach. So I want to coach the players.
Challenges ahead of you, Eddie. You were recently quoted as saying, in my opinion, about central contracts and England not having them, it's the single greatest task ahead of whoever is the next England coach. You are that next England coach. So how do you intend to tackle that issue? So
I had a couple of good days with Ian Ritchie talking about the current situation. I'm sure that we can, going forward, there's going to be a very positive relationship between the Premier League clubs and the union. You know, I think everyone wants England to do well. We want the Premier League clubs to do well. So there's a mutual benefit in us working together, and I'm sure that's going to happen.
How important is that, a good relationship with the Premier League?
Massively important. You know, I've sat on the other side of the desk. You know, I had 2 stints at Saracens, so I know what it's like. You know, I've done the same in Australia. I've coached the Brumbies and coached Australia, so I understand the intricacies of it all and understand that everyone needs to work together.
How well do you know the players available to you, Eddie?
Yeah, I've obviously watched all of England's games over the last 12 months. Yeah, I've watched premiership games. Yeah, I don't have the exact knowledge of every young player in England, but that's something I'm going to find out over the next 4 weeks.
Captain-wise, what are you looking for in your captain?
Well, in terms of the captain, you're always looking for a guy who's going to be selected in the side. You need a guy who's going to live the values of the team, lead from the front, and that's what we're looking for going forward.
Do you have anyone in mind at the moment?
No one going forward. You know, one of the first tasks is I'm going to sit down with Chris Robshaw and have a chat to him, and then evaluate where we go.
Overseas-based players, Eddie. How do you feel about the RFU policy of not selecting overseas-based players?
Well, the only thing I know is that I want players who want to play for England. And if you want to play for England, you play in the Premiership. You know, that's the rule, and that's the rule that's going to stay. And I'm quite happy with that. We can work with that.
Looking at your management, can you give an insight as to what coaches you might bring in, what coaches you intend to work with?
Well, the first job I've got, apart from meeting the directors of rugby, is sitting down with the current staff, getting an idea of where they feel they can make a contribution to English rugby, and then after I've done that appraisal, I'll work out what we're going to have going forward.
How important is it to you that English coaches are continued to be developed?
Well, obviously, I'm a foreign coach, and one of my jobs is to make sure that at the end of 2019, there's options for England to pick from the assistant coaches, and that's going to be one of my tasks. I think my record as a coach shows that I've been able to do that.
Is there any reason, Eddie, why England cannot win the 2019 World Cup?
Well, the only game we've got to worry about winning now is the first one at Scotland. We win the first one at Scotland, then our second game we want to win, then the third game we want to win, and by the time we get to the World Cup, if we've got that winning confidence, we'll be in a position to do what we want to do.
So is winning everything immediately, over performance, over structure, over game plan, is winning everything?
Well, I think when you perform well, you win. And performance is the key. The process is getting that performance, consistency in performance. So it's always the process first, but obviously we want to win.
And a quick message to the fans, Eddie?
Well, I've been to 3 World Cups. The last World Cup was the most unbelievable experience, and I'm not saying that because Japan did well. I'm saying it firstly that the organising committee did a fantastic job in putting on the World Cup, and the fans were just enormous. You know, we had English fans dressed in Japanese flags. We had English fans supporting every team around the world, and more importantly, we've got English fans that want England to win. So hopefully we're going to be able to put on performances over the next 4 years where the fans get even more excited.